If you got it, it ain't a question. Oh, it ain't no room for guessing. No more than emotionally invested. Showing you all my imperfections. Oh, if I let you take me for granted.
So I just want to talk to you all today about succubuses. And succubuses are negative demonic entities operating in the form of females. I have a yoni steam business. I've been in business for several years now. And I have never came across this since I've been in the business of steaming women. I had this particular young lady that got in touch with me, and she called me because she wanted to get in that same day, but I wasn't able to take her. So I told her that I could get her in the next day. And she told me, like, I had rough sex and it was unprotected, and I'm just trying to see if you can get me in. And I was like, sure, I can get you in the next day. So she came in, she knocked on the door, and when I opened the door, when I tell you all that this woman's face was on fire, like her face was on fire. And I'm not saying like it was literally on fire, but energetically, clairvoyantly, that's what I was seeing, that her face was on fire. And her hair was wild, and her energy was just off. So she walked, because I always read people when they come through my door. As they're talking, I'm reading them to pick up like what I'm feeling, what I'm sensing with them. So she walked past, she smelled like weed, and she had some food and whatnot in her hand. And so I said, make yourself at home. I was, pointing her where things are, where she can sit her things and whatnot. And I went in the back to get myself ready. So she sat down, and, she was just talking and whatnot. But it was like the way she was talking, it was like she was all over the place, jumping here, jumping there. And she was like, yeah, I used to do this at home, but it's not hitting right and stuff like that. So I told her to go ahead and get dressed. And so she got on my box. And when she got on my steam box, so it's 4 boxes in my steam room. She's sitting at one. She's sitting on one. I'm across from her. So we are across the room from each other. So somebody is texting me because they want another appointment. So I'm on my phone booking someone, and she's already set up on the box. She's good to go. I'm looking directly at her while I'm on my phone texting. So all of a sudden she was like, can you put your phone down? I need your undivided attention. And I was like, yes, ma'am. And I was like, yes, ma'am. I'll put my phone down. She was like, oh, I didn't mean any harm. I just, think that it's rude to, be on your phone, and, I need your undivided attention. And I'm like, I understand that, but it's something's very important I have to take care of on my phone with a booking. So she just got to talking, and I was listening to her. And when I tell you, like, looking at her, she looks like a tortured soul. Like, she looks like it looked like her soul, like her body was on fire. That's the only way that I could explain it. Like, it looked like she was like an eternal flame of just fire. That's how she looked. And so she's sitting on the box and she's steaming. And I was like, well, besides steaming and whatnot, I was like, what really brought you in here? And she was like, no, just that. It's just that, I like having rough sex and whatnot. And, I made a mistake and had unprotected sex. She was like, well, I have a lot of unprotected sex. And she was like, I have it with a lot of toxic men. And she was like, what, to be honest, I'm not going to stop having sex with them. And I was like, wow, okay. I'm like, so what's the point of you getting a steam if you're going to expose yourself to men who don't have your best interest at heart? Why are you going to continue to keep doing it? And she's like, oh, I just like the way it makes me feel. So I'm like, I can hardly wait to get you up out this room. Because inside of my suite, I have a big selenite wand, and it keeps the energy clean in there. When she got off that damn box, I got some sprinklers in my suite. So when she got off the box, honey, I went and got my Palo Santo, and I smudged the inside of that box. I said, because I'm not going to steam on this box. I'm not going to let anybody else steam on this box until I cleanse this box, because my energy felt dirty dealing with her. And that box, it felt dirty. So I was like, even though I clean them, This box right here, I have to smudge because sister girl's energy was not right. So she before she got up, I want to say this, before she got up, I said, I want to put my hands on you. I said, but I want to put my hands on you whereas I give you a womb massage, and it helps with any type of buildup that's inside of the uterine wall and things like that, and it helps to bring circulation. She was like, sure, okay. So as I put my hand on her, I see a purple laser go from her third eye all the way across the room. And I told her, I said, you have a lot of heavy energy on you. And I said, I'm seeing clairvoyantly, because she knew who I was because she looked at my website and whatnot. I said, I'm seeing clairvoyantly that I see like this purple laser going from your third eye across the room. When I tell y'all, she let out this like cackling sound, like it was just unsettling. So she ended up leaving. She got in touch with me maybe a week or so later. And she was like, I decided that I want to steam myself. I'm like, okay. She was like, well, can you point me in direction, or can you give me your recipe that you use for your herbal blends? I'm like, I'm not giving you my recipe that I use. That's for me to give to my clients. And I was just telling her like different herbal stores that she can go to that's local. And she was like, well, is there any way that, you can show me and whatnot? And I was like, to be honest with you, I was like, I have someone on the other end. I was like, I'm not into doing like the self kits. I said, I perform the service. This woman hung up in my face, y'all. So I end up blocking her because I'm like, I don't want to, even if I had the herbs, I don't want to sell them to you because I don't want you to come around me, period. So a couple of days ago, I get a notification. And she's trying to book another appointment with me. Y'all know what I did? I declined that appointment because all money ain't good money. And I didn't want that energy around me. I'm going to tell you all, especially when it comes to these men that like to deal with women that are filled with drama and toxicity. You're dealing with a succubus spirit. And the reason why I say that is because if you deal with a woman that just like to fuck and fight and argue, same thing go for a woman dealing with a man. If you dealing with a man, sis, that like to fuck, fight, and argue, and it's like he always try to find ways to demean you or put you down, or you just feel like you're not good enough when you are in his or her presence, please run. Because when it comes to the incubus and the succubus, yes, it's an energy that you're dealing with. But this energy of this incubus and this succubus has to attach itself to someone. You have to be an open host in order for this demonic entity to attach itself to you. And the more and more you lay down with certain people, the more and more you are gathering that negative energy of the incubus or the succubus, because eventually you're going to run into someone who has just as much negative energy attached to them. And when you all get together, you all will create something when it comes to motion and when it comes to energy and frequency, that you will be able to attach something to them. They will be able to attach something to you and vice versa. That, have you noticed, like when you have sex with someone and when you get up or when you like leave them, you don't feel the same? That's because all of that negative energy that was being mixed in together, and you all created an attachment for yourself and for her or for him that you're not going to be able to get off unless you go on a deep cleanse. So I'm saying this to say, please check the temperature of these people that you're dealing with. Stop having all these one night stands. Stop trying to bust it open. Really, really, really sit with your energy, because your energy is going to tell you everything that you need to know about a person. But also as well, a lot of y'all are dead out here when it comes to energy. A lot of y'all are not feeling. A lot of y'all spidey senses are off, way off. So dealing with a lot of people, it clouds your judgment. But on top of that, it creates so much static in your energy field that you are not able to either separate your mindset or separate your thoughts from their thoughts, and everything is getting entangled. Because even though you have had sex with that person and you haven't seen them in a while, guess what? They are still on you. So you just have to really be careful what you open yourself up to, and just keep knowing if you keep going down this certain rabbit hole, it's going to lead you into something that you're not going to be able to get out of. And when that demonic attachment is on you, it's hard because all of your chakras are cut off.